Edward.
VP.
What's
VP.
up, buddy?
Howdy.
Man, I feel like, I don't know, like a cat with a toy or some shit. I don't know exactly how. I'm so excited. I can't even describe it.
Did you get the new
Football season
fleshlight?
is in full fucking swing, man.
Did you get the new fleshlight?
The new fleshlight? No, but I did get a new quarterback, and so I might be a believer. I'm not sure.
What is
I don't know
that?
if you guys can see this, but
What is that? What is that? I gotta take these
two
glasses
gloves.
off.
Little two gloves.
Put them together.
Oh, hold on. They don't have nothing cool.
Dick
Oh,
sucker.
they do have
Okay.
something cool.
Oh, it says UA. I thought it said dick sucker. Dude.
I don't know, but the grip on these bad boys is something else. I'll tell you that.
Tear the skin off, huh?
Oh man, if you're not careful, it's chafed.
Bro, we're back at it.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
It's like we're both fathers.
Fault.
Right? We both have multiple kids, not just one. Like I feel like if you only have one kid, you're kind of half-assing it, but whatever. So you have two, I have three. And do your kids ever do anything super weird that like creeps you out?
So my thing is like, I feel like bathroom time is like personal time, right? Like you should be alone. My kids think it's a team sport.
They want to help you push?
Right. So over the summer, my daughter was home with us and I had to go. Coffee just ran through me. Well, she's small enough. I got to leave the door open so I can hear her if something happens, right? She waddles her ass in there while I'm sitting on the toilet and she goes, poo poo, and then goes ahead and taps my side. And I'm just like, what the fuck is that? Like, I've never taught you that. What the hell is going on here? And then she just walks out like it's normal.
Yeah. Like she told you good job.
Right.
So what I'm talking about is like that's normal. I'm talking about like up here, weird, like, oh my God, this is crazy. So my daughter just recently started sleeping in her own bed. But now she sleepwalks. Yeah.
What?
Right. So last night,
Eyes open or closed?
Huh?
With her eyes open or closed?
Hold on.
Okay.
So I'm in bed. I'm on my phone. We're watching something on TV. And all of a sudden I hear her. She says, "Hey, Daddy." And I'm like, what the? It's midnight. The fuck are you doing down here, right? I turn around and look. She's like wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, smiling, super happy. And I sit up and I'm like, "Come here, baby." And I pick her up and I set her on the bed. And I'm looking at her and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? She is completely asleep, but talking to me.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. Coming to hang out with you. I was like, sweetheart, you're supposed to be in bed. And she's like, I am. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I sit her on the bed and I'm like looking at her, eye to eye. And I'm like, hey, are you awake right now? And she just goes, huh. I'm like, what the? So then I ask her, hey, what's mommy's name? And she like looks and she goes, ha. And I was like, hey, what's my name? Daddy. I was like, okay, here, do you want to sleep in my bed? Uh-huh. Okay, so I pick her up and I set her in the middle and I lay her on the pillow. No shit, instantly, as soon as her head hits the pillow, snoring.
What?
We just had a full-blown conversation for 5 minutes. Out cold.
I'm calling a priest. I'm calling a priest, a rabbi.
No shit. I'm so
shaman.
scared that I don't know what, I'm worried about tonight.
Did y'all ask her about it?
Yeah. That's the other part. I talked to her about it this morning when she woke up. And I was like, hey, do you remember coming down here last night? No. It's like, okay, do you remember me talking to you on the bed? And I was like, or she goes, yeah, I remember that. And I said, okay, what did I say? And she said, you woke up and you rolled over and said, where's Lauren? And then you touched me. And I'm like, that was this morning. Like that was waking you up. That wasn't last night when we were talking. She has no idea what happened.
I'm going to need you to record it next time.
I'm going to have to. And then also one time I was working, I wasn't here, and she did it. And when she woke up, she rolled over and she said, "Mommy, why did you come get me? I wanted to sleep in my bed." And we were like, kid, you came down here on your own. So I don't know. Like, I've read some like stories about kids, pretending like they can see stuff or whatever. But this is tripping me the fuck out, dude.
I'd be scared if you just wake up and she's standing at the frame of your door and she goes, la, 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 la,
okay,
la,
quit it.
La,
That's so fucked up, dude. That is so fucked up.
Bro, that is a fear.
Yeah.
Like, any child just
don't
go to dark places where kids are alone and they're singing.
Because any horror movie you've ever seen where they have a little kid, it's always the creepiest fucking kid you've ever seen in your life.
They shouldn't be.
I think this is my fault because I like horror movies. And so now I'm like living one. I don't fucking know.
Just lock the knives.
Well, yeah. So like, shit. We had to make sure that we have like latches on the doors so she doesn't try to go outside. It scares the shit out of me.
Or you can, I think that's against rules. I was going to say put a lock outside her door just so she doesn't walk around. But
yeah, that's kind of
I think that's a fire hazard.
I think it's also called child abuse. I don't know. I don't know if you're aware of this.
It's 2021. I
mean, what are we gonna do? Like lock the door and then put a toilet in there? Hey, just use the bucket if you have to go.
Put a little tray slot in there. Here's your food.
Oh shit. Anyway, we got a lot to cover. Dude, you ready to start this shit?
Let's do this, baby! Woo! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Two Wanna Be Athletes Talk Sports. I am Ed.
I'm Zach.
And here we are again, assholes. Week 1, NFL.
New gloves, baby.
In the books, baby!
Hey, I don't know if you looked, but just in case no one else in the airwaves knows, AFC West 4-0.
4-0.
Best division in football. Well, and the NFC West is undefeated too, but fuck them.
4-0.
Not bad.
What is it? The NFC North 0-4.
Yeah, not too great there.
I think we need to dive right into that one.
Who the fuck is this guy and where is Aaron Rodgers?
Bro, shittiest performance I've ever seen from that team.
So I read a stat that I know stats are boring, but this stat's kind of crazy. If you're a quarterback and every time you snapped the football and you threw it directly into the dirt, never completed a pass, your quarterback rating would be 6 points higher than what Aaron Rodgers was on Sunday.
That's crazy. Didn't he get like an all-time low for fantasy points too for him?
Yeah, like 1.6 or some shit.
Insane. Now I know I'm sure there are people out there right now that are panicking, but we all know Rodgers can come out and RELAX. Relax.
I was wondering if you were going to go there. I'm proud of you.
It's bound, right?
It's going to come because that's just who he is.
Somebody tried to tell me that he performed like that because he's going through a divorce or a breakup or something. I'm like, no. I think all the off-season drama and leading up to here, like, this may be one of two things. He was just off his game that day, or we're about to see Aaron Rodgers make Green Bay the worst fucking team around.
Man,
but nothing looked intentional except for the interception that he threw so fucking deep that he had no purpose of doing that.
Yeah. So I'm one of the people that looks like an idiot right now because I said no matter what team Aaron Rodgers was on, they're winning the Super Bowl. I'm not going back on my statement because I still believe that he could just turn it on and he'd be the best quarterback in the league. Right? He could win an MVP at the drop of a hat. So I'm not backing down. I'm just asking, where the fuck are you, Aaron Rodgers? That's not you.
That whole team, that wasn't Green Bay. It wasn't just him. The defense didn't do their job as well.
I was going to say Aaron Rodgers only had 1.6 points. Aaron Jones had 4 points, I think.
Right.
And even Devontae Adams only had 10.
Which is low for him.
It's a low for everyone. It was a low all the way around. I don't even think the tight end had a catch.
So they're facing off against Detroit.
Yeah, Yeah, which Jared Goff just had 56 fantasy points because he went the fuck off this weekend.
He did. That game.
Too bad it took him till the fourth quarter to figure out, oh shit, I'm playing football, but whatever.
The whole defense or the whole Detroit Lions, I think, looked really good. Like, I think they shocked a lot of people, not only for their comeback and almost win, but like their coaching was stellar. The run game was there. Jamal Williams did outstanding for coming in. Swift looked pretty good, catching in the field. Just I'm gonna keep an eye on Detroit. I think they look pretty sharp. I'm not putting them as division winners. I'm not putting them as a playoff team.
I mean, really though, like in that division, like Minnesota is the only team that actually looks halfway decent.
Right.
I mean, Chicago is still trying to do this whole thing with Andy Dalton, which is just not going to work. And especially when you have a performance from David Montgomery like that, how do you waste it with shitty quarterback play?
Their O-line was not doing anything. To me, it was like watching Andy Dalton last year in Dallas, to where the pocket just continued to collapse over and over and over. And Dalton is not a rushing quarterback. He can't scramble. He can't get out the way. I mean, at that point, if you're seeing so much pressure come on Dalton, why isn't Fields in? Why isn't Fields in to give
I mean, if you're going to lose the game anyway, at least let the rookie take some fire and kind of get used to the speed of the game. I mean,
Matt Nagy is he's already on the chopping block, man.
Right. I've already seen a bunch of things on TikTok where they're comparing him to a dumpster already. Like, dude, it's 1 week into the season.
But it was that bad.
It was that bad. I'm with you. I agree.
I put a lot on Nagy, but I also put a lot on the defense, because that old defense, like, just was not. You have a defense
like that with Khalil Mack, like, you should be able to put some pressure on the quarterback, and he was a non-factor in the game.
They couldn't do it. If I remember correctly, they were running a lot of 3-4, which I don't understand why you're not loading the box with more, especially with Khalil. I
mean, especially after you see what the game plan is. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, why are you not? I don't know. The whole thing was so fucked up. I don't know. Maybe Nagy just doesn't have it as a coach. I don't like to say that, but maybe he just doesn't have it.
Minnesota and Cincinnati was a fun game to watch.
Kind of disappointing to me, just because you had to have a loser in the game. I feel like both teams actually played pretty well. The drive where Kirk Cousins had to go down the field and then they kicked like a 52-yard field goal to tie it, and the guy fucking nailed it.
Yep.
Like, that was pretty awesome. But, eventually somebody's got to win. So,
what do you think of Cousins' performance?
And I honestly thought it was pretty good. He's somebody that I'm predicting is going to be under the radar. Excuse me, under the radar. He's always been, top 12, top 15, at least top 20 quarterback fantasy wise. I feel like this year is the year that he takes a step forward and finally shows himself in the top 10, maybe the top 8. He's got some pretty dynamic weapons around him. It does hurt that he lost Irv Smith, because, good tight end is always your best friend. But I think his name was Tyler Conklin. I'm not sure. He stepped in pretty well. I think Adam Thielen had 30 fantasy points. Justin Jefferson, I didn't see his performance, but I know Dalvin Cook had a touchdown and about 60 or 70 yards. So, I mean, really, the offense was performing pretty well.
Justin Jefferson, they ran a play to where he actually threw the ball. He was 1 for 1 with 11 passing yards.
That's weird.
But he only got 5 receptions. Do you think they didn't utilize Jefferson like they should have?
It's hard for me to know without looking at the targets.
Right.
That's, to me, I don't want to give away a lot of fantasy stuff here, but that's what I look at. My number one judge for wide receivers is how many targets are they getting?
He was 5 for 9.
See, so 9 targets. So it's not that they're not utilizing him. It's just that
he's not
the ball
catching.
Either didn't go his way, or maybe the defense was a little tighter, or the ball was off a little bit. But I'm of the mindset that if he's still getting 9 targets, he's still a pretty active member of the offense. And anywhere north of 6 targets for a wide receiver is true, like proof that you're still a dominant piece in that offense.
Right. I'm with you on the whole Kirk Cousins talk, but the one thing that I'm going to take away, and again, I know this is something I repeat a lot on, the O-line. The O-line just was crumbling for him. I mean, he got sacked 3 times for 26 yards. You can't do that. You can't allow your quarterback, especially with the receivers and the running game that you got. You can't. You've got to do a better job protecting.
Yeah, especially when you have guys that are like Justin Jefferson, where they live on like double moves and stuff like that. You've got to be able to give your quarterback enough time to let plays like that develop.
Right.
I didn't watch all of the game. I watched it on Red Zone, so I saw, like the smallest amount of the game.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like that was just a good game. It's terrible that somebody had to lose. It's terrible that they, lost in overtime. Like all those things are bad. But I think we really saw in the game the emergence of Jamar Chase.
Yes.
There were a bunch of questions in preseason. There was even the report that came out that said he's scared to catch the football because it doesn't have like lines on it, or like I don't know. He's having issues. Like I'm not 100% sure what all that was about, but all he did was show up and go. He had 5 catches over 100 yards, and he had a touchdown. So, I mean, I don't really know what else you can do other than just show up and show out, and he did that.
Do you have any favorite games of the week?
Well, I mean, clearly as a fan, my favorite game of the week was Denver and New York. Obviously, Teddy Two Gloves showed out, played pretty well. I'm not a believer of Teddy Two Gloves, but Von Miller is, and so I'm going to go with what Von Miller says. I think he went a little far. He said that Teddy Bridgewater's leadership is something he hasn't seen since 18 was there. That's, to me, that's a little much. Like, I understand you want to like gin up your guy, right? Because he's your guy. Like, I get that, right? He's the guy you're going to war with right now. So you might as well give him like the most possible props ever, And if you can boost his confidence, then you boost his confidence, because in the long run, it ends up helping your team.
Right.
Right. So I'm all about that. But Peyton Manning is arguably the best quarterback we've ever seen. Definitely top 5 all time, probably top 2 all time, if you're a cocksucker of Tom Brady. But that, I don't know, that's a far stretch for me. I can't get there. But if Von Miller's going to ride or die with him, I'm going to ride or die with him until he fucking loses, I guess.
I love how I was texting you during that game, and you were so mad that they were winning because
I wasn't mad that they were winning. I was mad that they were winning and he was doing well, because like, I think it's like fool's gold, right? Like, it looks pretty, it's shiny, but it ain't worth anything.
Right.
And so I still feel like because they played the Giants, it's not that big a deal. And I think I'm on record of saying that Drew Lock will be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos when they play the Dallas Cowboys. I still stand by that statement, but the problem is that he has to really shit the bed, steal your phrase, because the schedule for the Broncos is so fucking Mickey Mouse that if he doesn't succeed, like, he's just going to get replaced sooner. But because of the way the schedule works out, they're going to have a bunch of wins. Like, they're probably going to be 3-0 before they face Baltimore week 4. And like, how do you replace a quarterback that's 3-0?
You can't.
You can't.
And so unless he gets hurt or just
right, unless he gets hurt or unless he completely shits the bed and go, like I was saying, the only way that he's going to get replaced before week 4 is if they win, but he throws 3 interceptions in each game.
Right.
He didn't do that. He didn't throw 1 interception. So he played pretty well, and he had a 77.7% completion percentage. So he looked good. But they play the Giants, which they just beat. They play Jacksonville, and they play the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So those are 3 games that a veteran team should win. And then they play Baltimore, and then they play Pittsburgh, and then they play the Raiders, and then they play Cleveland. Right? So those 4 games there are a pretty tough stretch. And we'll have to to me, that's when we'll know who Teddy Bridgewater is.
Yeah. I think next week for Denver's a solid win. I mean, it's Jacksonville. Jacksonville looked horrible. I'm watching that game. I couldn't decide if it was Urban Myers who was fucking up or if it was Trevor Lawrence. There was no run game there. They're going against a busted Texans team that just surprised a lot of people. Mark Ingram coming out and rushing for whatever, and Tyrod Taylor looking pretty damn good to some people.
He looked good to me.
I don't know. I still have no hopes for that team. Yeah. Somebody texted me and they're like, "Man, I hope this continues on. I hope the Texans keep winning this." And I'm, whoa. No, because if you do that, then Deshaun Watson's trade value goes down.
Right. Yeah, you're going to turn it into, are you kidding? I have no idea where that came from, why that's so loud. I apologize. That's ridiculous. It irritates the fire out of me when you click on a link and a fucking ad pops up.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Now I lost my. Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good. But yeah, if you keep winning, it ends up destroying what you're betting on in your nest egg with Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. If the team wins without him, the team wasn't winning with him. Right. So it's very hard to turn around and tell other teams, we only went 4-12, but this guy's worth 3 first-round draft picks. And they're like, why? Right. Tyrod Taylor, how much did you pay for him? Oh, nothing? That's weird. He's winning, and your guy's losing. Mm-hmm. So odd.
Just since we're on the subject of the team, they've got Browns and Texans for week 2. Last time I checked the books, they had Texans at plus 12.5. Did you take that?
So after watching how tightly they played the Chiefs on offense, no, because Tyrod Taylor is not Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
Brandon Cooks is not Tyreek Hill.
Nope.
And whoever the Texans line up at tight end is not Travis Kelce.
Nope.
So I don't think that the Texans can beat the defense the Browns have. No. It's weird now. Like, we have to talk about the Browns as an actual contender team.
Dude, scary good.
They did lose the game this week, obviously, but they played probably the best team in the AFC. I think that's a kind of a consensus that it's the Chiefs division or the Chiefs conference. Everybody else is kind of nipping at their ankles.
Watching that game, I felt like I originally said at the beginning, Cleveland was going to win that game. Everybody was like, "Oh, you're an idiot." Well, if you watch that game, they were running away with it. And then Patrick Mahomes does what he does, starts bringing the team back in the second half. Baker didn't throw any interceptions, or he threw 1 interception. The Browns didn't punt until the 4th quarter, and they fucked that up too.
They did, yeah.
I think Cleveland got real cocky going towards the end of the game, which possibly cost them the game. And it's the same thing that happened in the playoffs when they played Kansas City. I want to say that they were up on Kansas City, then they got cocky. And
it seems like everybody can get out to an early start against Kansas City, but Kansas City closes like no other, man. It's like the 3rd quarter kicks off, and it's like, all right,
time to go to work.
We know what you're doing. We got your ass.
It's like watching Ohio State prior to this year. Ohio State would be down in the first half, and people were like, "Oh shit, Ohio State's going to lose." Well, they're a second half team, and they come back and destroy people. Yeah, they didn't destroy Oregon though.
Well, Oregon. I mean, let's be honest. Oregon is a very talented team. They always are, and now I feel like with the contracts and shit that college players can get, that this is really going to benefit Oregon.
I love that game. That game was so delicious.
I mean, it was a very good game. I think we kind of got spoiled in back-to-back weeks in college football, where we had with Florida State and Notre Dame, right? Such a good game, and we had Clemson and Georgia, such a good game, right? Both opposite ends of the spectrum. Um, really good offenses between Florida State and Notre Dame, and then really good defenses between Clemson and Georgia. And then here we go again, Ohio State and Oregon. Not really too much defense. I mean, like a little bit, right? But still 35-28 score. And then obviously Oregon had to make a couple plays on defense to win the game. But, I mean, this has been so far a really good college schedule.
I already can't wait for this Saturday. I
mean,
can't
now,
wait.
if you're Florida State, like your season is over because you just lost to nobody. But whatever, it's good stuff. I guess does that make the win for Notre Dame look really shitty now? Or does it look like Florida State just really had a big letdown?
I don't know. I keep watching that play just because I don't know. I'm not a Florida State fan, but it pisses me off watching the defenders lackluster effort to fucking try to tackle them. They're in fucking 2% mode going after them.
Yeah.
And they gave up instantly. It pisses me off to watch something like that. To be a top tiered team, a recognized team like that, and you just don't give a fuck. Like, get off the field.
Right. It's like they thought, it seems to me, like they thought they could just show up and they were going to get a W. And like that's not the case anymore. With like in the 90s when the teams were powerhouses and they could basically recruit whatever kids they wanted, and people like the kids were okay with, I was a superstar in high school. I'm going to go to Alabama and I'm going to sit the bench for 3 years and I'll get my shot as a senior. Right. Yep. Now kids are seeing, I think we've talked about this before. Now kids are seeing, hey, I can go to Texas Tech and I can show out for 2 seasons and get drafted. I don't even have to wait until I'm a senior. And so that's creating a lot of parity in college football. And I think that what we saw against Florida State, we're going to see more and more.
I think so. Shoot, I didn't even mean for us to segue into college, but since we're here, my pick for this week for games that I'm going to be watching closely, Nebraska versus Oklahoma. I'm going against the grain on this one. I'm going Nebraska, and here's why.
Wow.
Spencer Rattler, I'm not a fan of. I don't think he's deserving all the hype that he's getting. But who he's facing against on the quarterback side for Nebraska, Adrian Martinez, is not being talked about. He needs to be talked about. 6'2", 220-pound junior. Let's see. He's already thrown for 728 yards with 4 touchdowns. He also has, I want to say he has over 300 rushing yards. No interceptions. This kid is dangerous, and I don't understand why he's not getting the light that he deserves. Now, again, I'm putting more effort into college football this season than I have in the past, so I'm sure somebody's going to correct me on why he's not being talked about. But Nebraska is looking very good, and a lot of it has to do with Martinez.
Well, so one thing that stands out to me between the Nebraska and Oklahoma game and the New Mexico and Texas A&M game, they're like on the schedule I'm looking at, they're right after each other. So Oklahoma has basically played shitty for 2 weeks. And then they played whoever they played last week and blew them out. And they're ranked 3rd. Okay. Texas A&M, they almost lost to what was that shitty team they played?
They played Kent first.
Kent. They almost lost to Kent week 1, right?
Right, and then Colorado.
And then they almost lost to Colorado. And so they started the season ranked 6th preseason. They barely beat Kent State, move up to 5. And then they barely beat who did you say?
Colorado.
They barely beat Colorado. They moved down to 7.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's still ranked 3rd. I don't understand that at all. Like, if you're going to move them down, why doesn't everybody move down? Because, like, I don't know. I'll never understand the college football rankings. I don't get it. But, I mean, really, there's only I'm scrolling down through it. There's only really one game that I'm kind of interested in. Excuse me, and that is Auburn at Penn State.
Ooh.
So I don't, and the problem is like I'm interested in the game, but I don't even know who to pick. I think I'm gonna pick Penn State, but the problem is that they just see every time I do this, every time it's supposed to be muted, and here comes some stupid bitch talking about sports that I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to hear you. I don't care what you have to say. I have a show and I make my own opinions. I don't fucking need yours. So anyway, the problem with Penn State Auburn is like I don't know any of the offensive players for Penn State. Right. Usually, you know, like the quarterback, you know, the running back. I mean, we saw Saquon come from there. So, but to me, every time I think of Penn State, I always think of linebackers. And it seems like that's their stars. Their stars are their linebackers. Those guys can cover sideline to sideline, and they can put defenses or they can put offenses, you know, in third and long situations, and then they're able to intercept the football. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's a pretty cool deal to have linebackers that can cover tight ends, that can cover slot receivers, and they can actually make them work. And Auburn, Auburn's in the SEC, and you know that's supposed to be big time defense. I think it's going to be a very short game. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle, and I think Auburn will make it a game, but I'm pretty sure Penn State will close it out. It'll be a field goal game. But if you like defense, I think this is a game you need to watch.
They got Penn State at -6. I think I'm with you. I think I'm going to go Penn State on that one, but I'm just going to take the money line.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the safe bet. Like I said, I think it's going to be a field goal game. I don't know. But, you know, when it's a field goal game, you have one fluke turnover. It turns into a touchdown. And now it's an 8-point win. But, you know, if you take away that one, it was actually a way closer game. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, or you have that one run where, you know, Auburn just breaks out and they score like a 70-yard touchdown. And it's like one of those fluke plays you didn't really anticipate was going to happen. And it swings the line so far, you know? So
now I know people are listening right now freaking out. Why aren't you talking about Alabama and Florida?
Who gives a shit,
man? That's going to be a good game. That's one of those things that you look at the schedule today and go, there's no need to talk about that. The anticipation is building for that game, but Alabama's going to win.
Well, so. Right. No, when I say who gives a shit, what I'm saying is like, you came here to hear other shit. If you want to listen to everybody talk about the same game, everybody give you the same take, you know, then go watch ESPN because that's what they're going to do. ESPN will start talking about that game at 8:00 this morning, and then they'll continue to talk about it until kickoff of that game. And if that's what you want, then, you know, go over there.
Go listen to the same regurgitated shit.
Right. There. That's not us, man. Look, we talked about 6-inch nipples. Do you know who you're talking to? So anyway, that's why I say who gives a shit. Because like I care. I want to see that game. But I mean, like, okay, let's just talk about it. Who do you think's gonna win?
Alabama.
Then who fucking cares? I'm done.
Right.
I'm in the same boat as you. I think Alabama is the number one team in the country. And until somebody knocks them off or actually gives them a run, I'm not going to change my mind.
I'll talk about it Saturday night. If there's some outstanding plays or if Bryce Young throws for 1,000 yards,
well, yeah,
I'll talk about it then.
Of course.
But right now, it's not needed. So
no, the only other game that's probably going to be any good is Arizona State, BYU. And I only say that because both teams are ranked.
Yeah.
I mean, BYU is always a pretty good, disciplined team. This is going to talk again. I know it's going to. It's a pretty good disciplined team, and Arizona State usually balls out on offense. So, you know, we could see we should see a pretty good game there too.
Well, everybody gets a break this week because the Bearcats are not playing. The Sam Houston State
champion. You're defending national champion, Sam Houston State.
They're taking a break. They're letting everybody heal. Okay.
It's bye week.
They'll come back on the 25th. Then we'll talk about them. But y'all go ahead. Y'all get excited
It's
about
bye
whatever
week.
else.
We'll give everybody else their props. We'll give everybody else their publicity. Next week's about the Bearcat.
I want to play Panic or Chill with you, but first I want to throw it over to Two Stroke Joe with this week's Motorsport update. Joe, what you got for us, man?
What you got, Joe?
What is going on, Ed and Zach? This is Two Stroke Joe again. I'm glad to be back with you guys. This time coming to you from my garage with an Olivia Connecticut Reserve Robusto in hand as I watch what the TV calls a tropical storm water my lawn and ruin my weekend riding plans. But you know what? It can't dampen my spirits because it's always sunny when you got premix in the tank and dinosaur toys at the dinner table. So let's get into this week's Motorsports Update. We start this time with racing's ultimate soap opera, Formula One, where the race cars are sponsored by super expensive watches, regular expensive booze, and all the drivers live in Monaco, which it turns out is a real place that you can go to. I mean, maybe not you and I, actually. You have to have money, but you get my drift. The big news here is that there's been a change in the order on the championship leaderboard, and this week we find Max Verstappen on top of the world's fastest heap. He's not just on top of Lewis Hamilton metaphorically by 5 points in the standings, but at the Gran Premio d'Italia last weekend at Monza, Italy, he found his Red Bull RB16 precariously perched atop Lewis's Mercedes in a very real physical sense. That's right, Max's car came to rest with his engine compartment on top of the life-saving halo device that the engineers so carefully crafted into the modern F1 chassis, which clearly did its job and saved Lewis Hamilton's life in this instance. Mercedes team manager Toto Wolff, and for those of you who are new to Formula One, that's not a joke. This guy's real name is Toto Wolff, and yes, he looks like a James Bond villain. He called what happened an egregious, dangerous racing rules violation, but that's not how Mr. Ginger Spice, the Red Bull Honda team manager Christian Horner, saw it. And to be 100% clear, he is in fact married to the smoke show redhead Spice Girl Jerry Halliwell. He called it a racing incident, and I tend to agree. Lewis was coming out of pit lane way fast. He gave Max no room at the chicane at the end of the pit-out road and pushed him off into the curbing. Because these two ignored the wisdom of Duval that I invoked last week, they bumped. His car hit the super aggressive curbing and came to rest on top of Lewis. The FIA sees it Toto's way. Max will be penalized 3 grid positions from where he qualifies at the next round in Russia on the 26th. Lewis reports his neck is still sore after his helmet was impacted by Verstappen's rear wheel, but with as much ice as he wears on his neck, I think he'll heal up real quick. Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren finally got his first win of the season, and I can't wait to see what happens in Russia. Maybe Sochi doesn't directly translate to dogfight, but it will after this race. Keeping with the car theme, we pivot to the NASCAR Sippy Cup Series that enters something they call the playoffs, which is just totally confusing to me. I don't know how that works for race cars compared to other sports, but when your basis is calling these things stock cars, I guess anything goes. I mean, there's no rear-wheel drive Camry in stock at any Toyota dealer, and no V8 Camry either, and no Toyota period you can get with a pushrod V8. The pony badge stuck on the front of the air quotes Mustang is about as real as any boob photos on Instagram. I mean, if you squint really hard, you can sort of see the outline through the filters. But being honest, I like both of them anyway, but it's not real. Any road-going production car represented in name only on the grid have fully independent four-wheel suspension, unlike their counterparts on stick axles and tube chassis. Even the drivers' names are stuck in the past. 100 points currently separates people like Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney in the championship standings. All of them sound like they could just as easily be roadies at a Skynyrd concert or an assistant manager at a Waffle House. The next race is this weekend's Bass Pro Shops Night Race, which promises to be about as much fun as a trip to Waffle House. At the end, it'll probably have as many running cars as that Waffle House parking lot, thanks to these guys' propensity for carnage. Finally, we come to the firm, bouncy, perky 36 double Ds of the motorsports world, the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Outdoor Series. The final round at Hangtown in Cordova, California last weekend had great racing. Dylan Ferrandis had wrapped it up a weekend earlier, though. And no French jokes or white flags here. Props to Mr. Mime Time, who's gone prime time, winning the outdoor 450 class trophy in his rookie season. Having mathematically locked it up the weekend earlier, Dylan could have mailed it in, but instead of putting it on cruise control in the last round, which he clearly doesn't understand because no French car has ever had functional cruise control, he charged hard and won the first moto. He got hung up in a first turn crash in Moto 2 and came back from dead last all the way up to third. He threw down the gauntlet in dramatic fashion. This guy's desire to win is every bit as strong as the French Marion Coulthard's cleavage game. The guy's the real deal. Let's not forget that motocross originated in Europe first. Husqvarna, the original kings of motocross, have come full circle and are back on top of the technology heap once again. And full disclosure, I do ride a Husqvarna TC250. I love it. If you guys want to send me swag for free, I will plug you all day. Anyway, Dylan earned himself some chocolate and cheese after this one. Gutsy doesn't begin to describe his performance. Things are going to get interesting when Eli Tomac moves to his team next year because Star Racing Yamaha will field 3 riders in both Supercross and Motocross, 2 of which have mullets, 2 of which have been anointed champions. We'll see what happens. And hey, shout out to Cooper Webb on the orange Austrian Juggernaut KTM ride. He finally got the engineers to remove some extra bracing on his machine, which he'd been complaining about all season, and lo and behold, he's on the podium the last 2 rounds. It's going to be a heck of a season to watch next year. Engineers try to solve problems racers don't know they had, with words regular people don't know, and sometimes they get it wrong. It's still people that pilot these machines, and no amount of data trumps what they feel. When it really counts, though, engineers do get it right. Hopefully where safety is concerned, just ask Lewis Hamilton. He's alive because of how right Mercedes got that halo. This is Two-Stroke Joe reminding you that loud mufflers don't save lives, but they do sound cool as hell when you're on the pipe. Crispy, crackly two-stroke sounds are fun. Peace and wheelies, y'all. I'm out.
Thank you, Joe, for that. Another excellent piece for Motorsports. ZP, you ready for Panic or Chill?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that the Verstappen Hamilton wreck. I saw that. Those are 2 guys that are battling each other to the death.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool to see. Usually in Formula One, you don't see contact. I think he talked about it before, where usually when those type of cars touch each other, they turn into confetti, which 100% true. I don't know what lap it was, but they both came in contact. They both took each other out of the race. So I don't know how that works for the championship standings, but they're both fighting it out pretty fucking hard. It's kind of cool to see.
We'll see how it goes, and we'll await the next update.
Oh yeah, thanks, Joe.
Here we go for
You a ring announcer? What the fuck is that?
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. Week 1 in the books. People are panicking. A lot of fantasy people panicking. A lot of people are happy, sad. All kinds of emotions going on after week 1 of 18 weeks of NFL play. So I come to you.
Wow.
Or come on you.
We can come together. I mean, that's no problem.
Just don't look at me.
No, I'm going to look deep into your eyes during my vinegar strokes.
I got 5 questions. You tell me chill or panic.
Okay.
I already know the answer to this one, but right out the gate, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers will not make the playoffs.
Fucking chill. Chill the fuck out.
A lot of people we've mentioned are panicking right now because of the performance of that entire team as well as Aaron Rodgers. To go through all that offseason bullshit just to start week 1 like that.
Do you know what the best remedy is for a shitty performance?
Cocaine?
Going into a Monday night football game against a division rival who you've basically owned.
At home. They're playing at home.
So, do you know who's not panicking over the Green Bay Packers?
Who?
Las Vegas. They have Green Bay in this game as an 11-point favorite.
Ooh.
Right. So, if the public is panicking, those people that live in Las Vegas that have all their houses made out of fucking marble and like Italian statues, they're not panicking and they make a shit ton of money. So, I think we're good with the Packers.
Jameis Winston will be MVP.
Chill the fuck out. He had 5 touchdown passes. That's
Right.
incredible. He threw for 148 yards.
Yep.
Something's a little sus there.
Right.
A little weird.
He did spread the ball out, though. He wasn't just targeting one person.
True. I mean, the tight end there had 3 catches, 2 touchdowns. I mean, obviously he's throwing the ball to Alvin Kamara, but I mean, still, it's a weird stat line. He was 14 of 20 for 5 touchdowns for 148 yards.
I don't know. Some people are already betting on it. I didn't look at what his odds are. But
so did Kyler Murray play yesterday? Oh, Kyler Murray did play yesterday. Did he ball out? Yeah, he had 5 touchdowns. But he threw for 270 something yards.
Right.
And one of the touchdowns was running. But Patrick Mahomes, he played too, right? Oh yeah. Damn. Wait, what about that dude in Tampa Bay? What's his name? Tom Brady? I'm not sure. He played pretty fucking well too. So, if we're looking at it, there were a lot of quarterbacks that played well, and the 5 touchdowns is a big number, but it's a little too early to be crowning him anything other than Captain King Crablegs.
He didn't throw any picks that game either, did he?
No.
Or did he throw one?
I don't think he threw any, to be totally honest. But I mean, he did have LASIK, so now he's only seeing 1 defender instead of 3.
All I can say is like, those of y'all who are shitting on him, give him a little bit of credit. The kid came out and played. He looks to go a whole year without playing and to come out and pull off a win against the Green Bay Packers. I was happy with it. But
I mean, it does help that Aaron Rodgers came out and looked like a meth head playing football.
Bro, maybe it's the hair. Maybe he needs to go ahead and just cut it off.
Seen a lot of that. I have seen a lot of people saying, dude, just cut the hair. Go back to being Aaron. We don't know who this guy is.
Chicago Bears are going to go 0-17.
Okay, so all of these so far have been chill. So I'm going to say chill. I think in this day and age in the NFL, you have to be really shitty to go undefeated, or you have to kind of try to go undefeated. Because, I mean, like, you're going to back into a win. Right now, if you were going to ask me, do I think somebody could go 0-17 this season? Yes. I've watched Jacksonville play, and I think they can go 0-17. But not Chicago. Chicago has a pretty good running game. They still have some pretty good wide receivers. They're just trying to fill themselves out. And I think eventually this, weird package that they have for Justin Fields is just going to become, you know what, we're tired of this. You're just going to be the starter because Andy Dalton just sucks. Well, and really, it's not that he sucks. It's like you said earlier. Their offensive line is just garbage.
Yep.
And he needs to be more mobile. And Andy Dalton isn't going to get any younger. And Justin Fields is already young and mobile. So why don't you just start him? So I feel like there's no way Justin Fields is going to lose 16 games.
We saw the best Trevor Lawrence that we're going to see all season against the Texans. Chill or panic?
I mean, I don't think that you panic. He's a rookie quarterback. So I'm not saying chill because I think that he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're probably not going to see that again, right? I mean, they do play the Texans one more time, but I mean, that's, to me, 300 yards is like a plateau, not a plateau, it's like a rung on the ladder that you ascend to, and it's pretty high up to get 300 passing yards. 3 touchdowns also is a pretty big step. But the 3 interceptions is what's questioning to me. And it's not that, it was tipped or whatever. They were just blatant misreads. And so I have a problem with that. But it's not like he thought he could make a throw and the ball was underthrown, or, you know what I mean? So it's not he doesn't lack talent. He lacks coaching.
Right.
And, that's something that he can learn. Clearly he's been a smart kid because he was the number 1 recruit out of high school, number 1 draft pick out of college. So he can play football. Just right now, that's probably the best you're going to see all season, but that's not necessarily saying he's a bust. I just think that he's a rookie quarterback. He's got to adjust to the game.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the NFC East.
Chill the fuck out.
Really? You're not hopping on the Jalen Hurts train?
No, I'm not. And the reason why I'm not is because the Eagles are not even on the Jalen Hurts train. There were several reports where they were trying to trade for multiple quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, they cashed in all their chips for Carson Wentz, right? They're not in the Carson Wentz game anymore. And by the way, he looked halfway decent in Indianapolis. But Jalen Hurts just was the guy there by default. He did have a spark at the end of last season. There are a few guys in the fantasy world that swear by him. I just don't understand how you can be fully committed to a guy and really think he's the future of your franchise, but then shop around every quarterback that's available.
Yeah. Well, 27-35, 264 with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I saw somebody praising him on TikTok saying y'all need to be on watch. This is the MVP right here. Y'all watch.
Who do they play?
They played the fucking Atlanta Falcons that could not do anything.
Yeah, so full disclosure, we already mentioned the Texans have the worst line coming up this following week. For
Atlanta against Tampa Bay. What?
Well, so let me just finish. Hold on.
Oh.
Cleveland is favored by 12.5 at home against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
The next worst line is actually tied with that, and it's Tampa Bay versus Atlanta in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is minus 12.5. So that tells you right 10. There that Atlanta is garbage.
That line opened up at 10.5.
Wow.
And they're already jumping it up like that.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Man, I thought I would have had a panic or two there on you, but
no, I think honestly, when you look at panicking, it's too early in the season to call for panic. And especially, when one of your questions is about Aaron Rodgers, he's won multiple MVPs. So it's hard for me to just think he's going to suck this year. It's very possible, right? It happens to everybody, but I just don't see it. I think he had a really bad night of drinking, went out with his teammates, took some shots, looked at some titties and just stayed out all night long and then decided, I guess I'll show up for a game. What?
I feel like he was drinking Bud Light the night before.
I feel like it was the old Varsity Blues, go out drinking, stay out till 6 a.m. and then shit, and we got a game tonight, but we just saw our teacher's titties. I think it's that kind of stuff.
I just can't get over it, how bad he looked.
It's weird. And then there's a meme that was going around that said, so you're telling me the guy on the left, and it was Aaron Rodgers, is 7 years younger than the guy on the right, and the guy on the right was Tom Brady. And it was like, Aaron Rodgers looks fucking homeless. Tom Brady looks like a fucking supermodel.
Thursday night game, we got the New York Giants versus Washington football team.
Man, that's a tough break for Washington. Prior to Fitzpatrick dying on the field yesterday or Sunday,
RIP, dude.
I had Washington winning this game. And to be totally honest, I might still have Washington winning this game. Their defense is no fucking joke, man. They have probably the best front seven in the game. And the Giants offensive line looked pretty shitty this past week. Von Miller had 2 sacks. He had 3 tackles for loss. I mean, the defense was just all over that offensive line. And the offensive line in New York is a makeshift, like patchwork quilt. They traded for a couple of guys in the offseason. So everybody knows with the offensive line, it takes a while for guys to gel. But the Danny Dimes, as you call him,
Danny Dimes,
he's not come to play at any high level at all. And I think that this pass rush is going to get to him. He holds onto the ball too damn long, and his wide receiving core is just not that great. There's some bright spots, but I mean, I feel like we would have seen Sterling Shepard break out if he was going to be anything. Evan Ingram is always fucking hurt, and lo and behold, he didn't play week 1 again.
Yep.
And then like Darius Slay is a bright spot, but I mean, I don't think he would start on 40% of the rosters in the NFL. So I just think this is a bad team. And Saquon, I don't even know who he is anymore.
That whole team is just dumpster fire.
It's weird, right?
That was going to be one of my questions, but I'm going to hold it off until week 2 is over with.
Okay.
On some of the running backs. You and I, we were texting all day Sunday and Monday, and one of the things that we were heavily surprised on was the lack of rushing yards throughout the league. We only had 4 players that rushed for over 100 yards, and some of them you didn't even expect. Like Melvin Gordon, I didn't expect him to go over 100.
And then to be fair, the only reason why he rushed for 100 yards because one carry went for 70.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. Maybe defenses have found out how to stop the run game, but now they're lacking in the passing yards because QBs be putting up some yards.
And that's what I was going to say. Like maybe the reason why running backs aren't getting the yardage like they normally do is because we're seeing quarterbacks throw the ball 50 and 60 times, and that's like the norm now.
Yes.
Right? Even Tom Brady threw the ball 50 times. Like that's almost unheard of,
It's crazy.
So
I don't know if we're in a spot in time to where O-lines just can't make the holes that they used to, or the front 7 for defenses are too strong against the run. Maybe cornerbacks are just trash now. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. The game
always evolves, and maybe this is the next evolution. But I mean, I think honestly, it could just be that most of these offensive linemen are coming from the college game where passing is a premium, and maybe they don't know how to run block. I don't know.
But if that's the case, you've got the same cornerbacks that are coming out of college into the NFL, and nobody got more than 1 interception last week, which is expected because, interceptions aren't easy to get. But
right.
Without how much the ball's being thrown, I would have expected the numbers to be up a little bit more. Now, granted, I'm not looking at team-wise. I'm looking at individuals. But I'm sure team-wise, we know the Texans had 3, which matched last year's total.
Yeah, there were some defenses that stepped up and played well as a unit. But, yeah, it's odd that there weren't 2 interceptions, especially when as many rookie quarterbacks as we had starting. But, I don't know, man. The NFL is constantly evolving.
Huge shout out to Chandler Jones.
Dude.
Bro, I did not expect that, first off, because of the fact I was expecting he was just going to be like a shitty player because he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be traded. But now he's trying to earn that paycheck. He's showing he is worth the money, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the fact that JJ was on the other side and
I don't know. I'll be honest.
Didn't do what?
I'll be honest. I didn't expect much from JJ.
No.
And he showed out too.
Yep.
He's playing a different role, right? He's not playing like a defensive end as much, it doesn't seem like. But he's making tackles for losses. He was in the backfield on some goal line stops. Like, he might be a pretty good compliment to Chandler Jones to let Chandler Jones eat,
I know I'm not the biggest J.J. Watt fan, and it's not because he left or anything like that. It's just, he's had greatness here and there. Granted, he's Defensive Player of the Year 3 times.
Yeah.
But injuries and age is catching up. I don't care what kind of a workout regimen he has and what kind of shape his body is in. Unless he stays healthy and puts up the numbers, I'm not really going to get too excited about him. But yes, like you were saying, he had a good outing on Sunday. He's complimenting Chandler Jones big time. I think offenses don't know how to block both of them. Arizona is going to be a fun team to watch this season.
Yeah.
I know that much.
I feel like Kyler Murray makes a step in the right, like step forward. Every season he's gotten better, and this might be the season that he might be on the cusp of MVP talk. I'm not gonna put him there. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna be MVP because I don't think it will be him. But I think he'll be in the discussion, and I think he's already on his way. He had 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, and he had a rushing touchdown. And I think that dynamic of running the football is what's going to set him apart. We saw it a couple of years ago with Lamar Jackson running the football, won MVP. Kyler Murray throws from the pocket a hell of a lot better than Lamar Jackson does.
Yep.
I don't want to say that he's a better runner because he's not. Lamar Jackson is clearly the better runner, but the way Kyler Murray runs in spots, I think, is smarter, and I think it's a more durable way to play the football game. And so I'm thinking he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Plus, we talk about they have DeAndre Hopkins. They signed AJ Green, but the guy who had the best game fantasy wise, Christian Kirk. Yes. 6 catches, 80-something yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, in an offense where you've got Chase Edmonds is going to catch the ball out of the backfield, DeAndre Hopkins on one side, and AJ Green on the other. Christian Kirk it's going to be tough for him to get his targets and his catches, but he did the most with what he got and really surprised me. I'm shocked that he did as well as he did.
I'm looking forward to that team. I know we did an episode where we broke down that division, and I wanted to say I probably put them down at the bottom. I think I'm eating my words on that one, which I'm okay with.
I mean, I think you had to, though. I mean, that division is still one of the best divisions in the NFL.
I think it is the best division.
I'm not even going to argue against you. You got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and holy shit, now I just forgot who it was. Who's the other team?
Say it.
I don't know.
Say it.
Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. 49ers. Wow. I'm shocked at that game. They almost lost that game.
That was a good game, though.
Yeah, it was a damn good game. How have we not talked about it right now? So, all right.
We started talking about Detroit right out the gate.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about like what happened in the game, like the game. We just talked about how good they looked. But
bro, Debo is the deal, man. Debo Samuel looks super sharp. Brandon, now you didn't even fucking show up.
Was he even on the field? I mean, I know he was, but he it seems like he wasn't even on the field. No targets, no catches.
Jimmy G looked good.
I hate to say it, but yeah, he did. But, I mean, he's still not going to be the starter by the end of the season. They're already working Trey Lance into the offense.
So that was something I noticed. I don't know if you saw it. Between them and Chicago, they were trying this new system out to where you go a couple of plays with your vet, and then here's one play where you bring in the rook, and then you take them out, and then you go ahead and put the vet back in. Some people were upset about this system. Some people loved it. The question is like, and I don't mean to veer off of that game, but does this piss off the vet? Does this piss off the vet that they're in this rhythm to where, hey, we're getting it going. Hey, we're 3rd and 2, and you're bringing in the rook?
Yeah, so that's when it becomes a problem. I think with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, it pissed off Drew Brees, and he didn't like it.
Right.
And you know what? He's a good guy, so he's probably going to say that I'm wrong, whatever. But I don't care. You could see the look on his face. He would be on a roll, and then they would take him off the field, and he fucking hated it. But it looked to me like Jimmy Garoppolo didn't care. Andy Dalton didn't care. And I think as long as your veteran guy isn't mad about it, then it doesn't hurt the team. But when that guy starts to react, or if it goes, see now on top of that, what did Trey Lance do? Came in, threw a touchdown pass on his first attempt.
Yep.
What did Justin Fields do? He rushed for a touchdown on his first drive. So when that's happening and that's helping the team win, the vet's not going to be pissed. But if you come in there and the vet's on the drive and, he's 3 of 3 for 45 yards, you're getting into the red zone, rookie comes in, throws a pick. And then, if that happens the first time, it's like, okay, he's a rookie, stuff's bound to happen. But if it continues to happen, the fuse on the veteran gets shorter and shorter every time. And
me personally, I love the system.
Games, and that's when it pisses everybody off.
My bad. I love the system. I think it throws a major curveball to the defenses. They don't know how to react because you have 2 quarterbacks that can run the ball. So you don't know what type of plays coming out their way. I think San Francisco looked amazing doing the bootleg. They were fooling defense every single time.
That's going to be Trey Lance's wheelhouse. Play action pass. And
Yes.
to be fair, that is the like the crux of a Shanahan offense is to run the ball, run the bootleg off the run.
But Jimmy G was running it with ease too and
Yeah.
psyching
Well,
out the defense, right?
Jimmy G is a veteran quarterback. Like he understands the game plan. He's been in this offense for a while. Like he knows how to play it. But the reason why I don't like him is because his skill set is not as good as Trey Lance. I know we talked shit about Trey Lance. We didn't understand the dynamic and why he was getting, such hype and why they were going to draft him so high. And I still stand by my statement, but physically, he is a hell of a lot more gifted than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Can we talk about Elijah Mitchell for a second?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, where the fuck did this kid come from?
so the most glaring thing to me is that, yeah, Mostert went down and that sucks, and he's going to be out for the year, whatever. But this kid stepped in and never missed a beat.
No.
But what's weird is in fantasy, the fantasy world, no one talked about this guy. It was all Trey Sermon. And I don't know if you saw the report. Trey Sermon before this game was a healthy scratch.
Which I don't understand because you watch him during the preseason, like they were almost counting him as a number 2.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The most glaring thing here is that you had a guy who everyone penciled in. He's the number 2 guy. If Mostert gets hurt, he's the guy. Or really, they can run 2-back system, and he's going to split carries with Mostert. And now he didn't even play yesterday, or he didn't even play Sunday.
And
so
now they're talking about what's his name, Jamichael Hasty being number 2.
Hasty.
Mostert out for the season, having season-ending surgery. Elijah Mitchell comes in, saves the day. Do you think it's too early to get excited about him, or do you think he's the real deal? Again, he went against Detroit.
Right. So, full disclosure, I'm a Trey Sermon fan. I liked him at Ohio State. I thought he was great there. I thought coming into the league, he was going to give whoever he got drafted to, he's going to give their number 1 back, a run for his money, as long as it's not Minnesota or Tennessee. And he was a healthy scratch. Like that's a big shock to me. And once you make it to the NFL, yeah, you're a top pick, whatever, but it's all about who produces. And those guys have been around for a long time. And if they're picking, now I forgot his name. I'm terrible with names. What's the guy's name?
Mitchell.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. If they're picking Elijah Mitchell to have the talent to complement the offense and do the things that they want done, and he's going to produce in the role, I mean, is it too early to say Trey Sermon's done?
I don't know, man. I think this week we're gonna get to see him a little bit. I hope he's playing. They may test him out. I don't know. It all depends on how practice goes for the week, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I want to say I read a report this morning that the Niners are trying out 8 players. Yeah, they're working out 8 players, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are running backs. Brian Hill, Dontrell Hillard, Kerryon Johnson, Artavis Pierce.
Kerryon Johnson is a name to look for.
Kerryon Johnson, I was surprised that he didn't make it in Philly, and for him to get cut there. He
was in Detroit, right?
He was drafted by Detroit. He was picked up by or traded to Philly in the offseason. Didn't make the team. They cut him for the roster, and now he's fighting for a job, I guess, in San Francisco. He didn't really put up dominating numbers, apparently, in Detroit, and he's not really somebody that people fear, I guess. So, I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for a back, yeah, go for it. But, I mean, I'm with you. Something must be going on in the meetings or something where Trey's just not working out.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that he's not doing well in the pass blocking scheme. Like, understanding who he's supposed to block and where he's supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. And that makes sense because, Jimmy Garoppolo has already been hurt once, and if he does get hurt, now you got Trey Lance in there. You wouldn't really want to get Trey Lance hurt because your running back doesn't know where to block. So that could be it, but I don't think so. Only because he went to Ohio State. Like, he has to know basic blocking schemes. So unless the other guy is just supremely talented and outworks him at practice, I don't know what I'm at a loss. It's weird to me.
Niners are going to
I still think it's too early to panic on Trey Sermon.
Niners are going to face off against Philadelphia Eagles, who gave up 124 rushing yards total. We'll see how that one goes. That should be a fun game. I want to jump back to college football real quick before we bounce.
Okay.
Something that at least I didn't come across until last night. The second game for Nebraska, they played a shit team called the Fordham Rams.
Okay.
All right, beat them 52-7. Why are you bringing this up, Ed? Why the fuck are we talking about a shit team against Nebraska? Well, Fordham has a linebacker named Brian Greenhagen.
Okay.
31 total tackles for the game.
Good God.
14 solo tackles, 1 sack.
Jeez.
Linebacker. So I come across it. I'm like, well, I got to see this kid. He looks like an awkward Brock Lesnar, just all hunched over, but he was just everywhere on the field. 31 total tackles in one game. That's got to be a fucking record.
It sounds like a record to me. That's insane.
I just felt like the public needed to know that took place.
That's pretty cool, actually. One thing that I watched a video. Apparently cornhole is like a big time sport.
Tis.
I didn't realize that. Most of the time when I play cornhole, I'm just getting drunk. So I didn't know that you could actually be on ESPN for cornhole. But anyway, I'm not good enough. But there's a video going around. It's a TikTok video where they were doing like open qualifying. And this guy entered in his 3-year-old brother. And I watched just one round. But for those of you who don't know, if you get one in the hole, it's 3 points. One on the board, it's 1 point. The first guy goes, and he's like 25, 30 years old. Throws it, makes it like right in front of the hole. Kid airmails it right into the hole. And then the next one, the kid, 3 years old, lands it right on the back of the cup, right?
Like toddler, 3.
3 years old. The next one, he lands it right in the back of the cup. The other guy misses. And then he puts another one like right around the hole. The other guy, he knocks his in, but the other one slides off. And then the 3-year-old kid throws one and brings all of his into the hole. He ended up scoring 6 points against this guy. He's 3 years old. I don't know his name. I don't know any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. The point is that if you can get beat by a 3-year-old, you probably need to quit.
Yeah, go ahead and leave. I bet his jersey sales are through the roof right now.
Oh, gotta be.
He's probably signing a deal with Nathan's Hot Dogs.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. Are they corn dog? Maybe they're corn dogs because it's cornhole. I don't know.
Is there a famous corn dog company? Tyson? Does Tyson make corn dogs?
I mean, they make all kinds of shit with chicken. I don't know about corn dogs.
A chicken corn dog. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that's not appealing for me. Well, hey, let's give something to the people, man.
Let's do it.
Today's Wednesday. What's your one prediction for this Sunday or this NFL week? We can go with whatever you want.
Ooh. I got to bring up my shit back up. Let's see.
Oh, I'll go with mine. So
yeah, go with yours. I was not prepared.
Yeah, no, I know. I sprung it on you last minute. So as we all know, last week the Cowboys lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-29. But in the process, they gave up, I want to say 56 fantasy points to some guy named Tom Brady. Oh, I'm sorry, 57.9 in our league. Our scoring is a little different, but excuse me. Basically, Tom Brady threw 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So going forward this week, the Cowboys are playing the Los Angeles Chargers, which is still weird to say. And just in case you were wondering, I don't see that quarterback. Where is that quarterback? Man, I had it all pulled up. I was all ready to go, and then I was making fun of you because you weren't ready because I sprung it on you like last minute.
Yeah,
and I can't find
Justin Herbert's
stats. I had them. Hold on, here we go.
Senor Herbert.
Justin Herbert, he threw for 337 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception this past week. And I don't even know who they played now. Son of a gun.
They played Washington.
There we go. They played Washington. So a pretty good defensive front. And that's what he did. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb that Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Chargers, has 5+ catches, 100+ yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Just throwing it out there.
Wow. I like that. I am going to go with, and this is probably a shitty one, but I don't care. Bills and Dolphins.
Okay. That's a division game. That's pretty good.
Josh Allen is pissed. Josh Allen is raining fire on the fucking Miami Dolphins. Emmanuel Sanders, look out for him. He's getting the ball out. Cole Beasley is going to be lighting it up. Stephon Diggs is just going to be waving his dick at people as he rushes into the end zone. I think the downfall of that team, though, is their rushing game. But their receiving core, I think, is going to just light Miami up. But I mentioned him first and foremost. I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to come out as the top receiver of this game. I think Miami is sleeping on him, and he's going to come out. He'll have 2 touchdowns for, we'll say, 110.
That's a pretty bold prediction there because Emmanuel Sanders is old man Emmanuel Sanders now.
He is.
I don't doubt his ability. I mean, he played in Denver, so I kind of like him. But that's not too far-fetched, I don't think. You bracket coverage on Stephon Diggs. Cole Beasley really didn't play well this past week. Bunch of drops. So Emmanuel Sanders could emerge as Josh Allen's favorite target. And it's really hard to not like a guy like Emmanuel Sanders because he gives you everything he's got. And if he can make the catch, he's going to make the catch. So
he reminds me of when John Brown was on the team. Everybody forgets about John Brown, and John Brown would put up some points.
I think he's a better wide receiver than John Brown.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that. I meant as far as the fact that people slept on him.
Hey, so one other thing for the people in our Dynasty League, do you know who you're playing this week?
I'm playing you.
We're playing each other.
Yes.
It is so fitting.
You're going down, sucker.
Yeah, so do we want to make a wager for the people?
Let's do it. What
do you want to bet?
If you lose, you're doing the 1-chip challenge on here.
I knew that's where you were going. All right. If you lose, what are we doing? I don't have anything cool. I don't know what. I don't want you to shave your head or something because that's just weird.
Oh Lord, no.
No, that's weird.
You brought it up in the past. You want to do the airsoft?
Oh, yeah.
I'm down. Just don't hit me in the face or the nuts.
No. I'm definitely going to shoot you in the back.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably fair because the 1-chip challenge fucking sucks. I don't want to do that. So I'd much rather at least be able to shoot you in the back, or maybe shoot you in the ass, one or the other. That's it. That's the bet right there.
No homo.
1-chip challenge, or I get to shoot you in the ass with an airsoft gun. Bare ass though.
That's fine.
And can we put bare ass on TikTok?
No. We get shut down for that.
So what if you wear a thong? I've seen bitches wear thongs.
I ain't wearing no thong, homie.
You just pull up one cheek.
I'll pull a cheek out.
There we go. All right. So cheek shot, chip challenge. Fuck.
Let's do it.
All right. It's on.
We are actually going to be on location Thursday night Pasadena Fairgrounds, Pasadena,
yeah.
Get Down, Dena, Texas, for the Pasadena Rodeo. Zach and I are sponsoring a cook-off team for a second time. Zach,
Yep.
what you got?
Second time, we are sponsoring the Caribbean Cookers. They're going to be out at the fairgrounds. Thursday night, we'll be out there. It's a sponsor night, so we're going to rub elbows with a bunch of sponsors and stuff. Excuse me. And then Friday and Saturday night is for the people. You can come by the tent, get some good barbecue. We'll have some koozie swag out there for the Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports fan base. You'll be able to see our name on the sponsor banner. We're not high rollers or anything, so it is a brass sponsorship, but a sponsorship nonetheless.
Hey.
And they're gonna have some cool stuff out there. So come see us at the tent. Come hang out. Come get some barbecue. Spend some money if you want to. Tip the guys. Obviously they compete and they try to win, but on the other side they just have a good time. They have live music. Pretty cool stuff, man.
I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna be doing some recording out there as well. We're gonna talk to the people out there, get their opinions on them, post them on TikTok, and maybe on our next podcast. Probably throw some up on Facebook. Just go out there. Tell them Ed and Zach sent you out there. Maybe they'll give you a hookup, maybe an extra rib. I don't know.
I mean, all kinds of stuff. They could give you, some beer, whatever. I mean,
Ooh.
I don't know.
I like beer.
But we'll be out there Thursday. I don't know what our availability is for Friday and Saturday, but we'll try to be out there, I guess, if we can. But yeah, come see us. It's pretty cool. They set up the tent like the Caribbean. They got sand and some fake palm trees, and they serve margaritas, and they serve like pina coladas in like these weird pineapple cups and stuff. They go all out, man. They're pretty cool people. Like I said, they have live music out there. They'll have a DJ. They'll have some music. Pretty cool stuff, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to some barbecue. I'm looking forward to mingling with the people.
Yeah, our contact, the people that we know, David, he's out there. He's making up some ribs. He does some pretty cool stuff with the barbecue pit. So yeah, if you go out to the tent, tell David that the Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports, Zach and Ed sent you.
Absolutely. Next time you're using a public bathroom and you hear somebody shit next to you, go ahead and tell them about Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports podcast. I'm sure they'd love to hear it more than your fucking ass explosion.
Oh yeah, the next time you're laying down the D in third person with your escort, make sure you got Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports either in your earbuds or on the iPod station that's in the hotel.
Absolutely. You know what? Maybe just write it down.
Yeah, that
when you
works.
write the check,
write it on the money
on the memo part.
Do you leave on the nightstand? Just write Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports podcast on it. See what happens.
She'll really appreciate it. Maybe you'll get a discount next time.
Maybe you get a discount, or maybe you get the word around that you like to listen to that while you're doing the deed, and then other women, they'll want to listen to it. Who knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to join us on all things social media. You know where to find us. This has been another episode of Two Want to Be Athletes Talk Sports. I'm Ed.
I'm Zach.
And we'll see you next time, assholes.